I'm Adrian Saville, and it is day 21 of our lockdown vlog. What had been intended as Unlock Day is instead Slowly Unwrap Day, with Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma telling us that miners and refiners, along with some clothing workers and hardware operators, would be heading back to work. For the rest of us, it remains lockdown as usual. At least that brings some clarity. And in the shape of at least that brings some clarity, IMF data brings dark clarity. The IMF data that I'm referring to is the revisions to world economic growth forecasts. At the start of the year, the IMF anticipated 2.8% growth for the world economy. They have revised that number down to -3. This is the worst figure since the 1930s. For South Africa, they take the figure from 0.8 economic growth at the start of the year to -5.8. I remember bemoaning the 0.8 figure at the beginning of the year. I would now take that with both hands and a very, very warm welcome. And then into the clarity of the bad data and the some migration back to work, some confusion. Starting with SAA, where SAA has asked for 10 million rand. This is an enterprise that in the past 3 years has consistently and inexplicably missed every reporting deadline as prescribed by the Public Finance Management Act. SAA last year lost 9 billion rand. At the beginning of this year, got 3.5 billion funding from the Development Bank of Southern Africa. They've worked their way through that, and they are now asking for another 10 billion. In this environment, it is an extraordinary ask. And to make some sense of what does 10 billion mean and what SAA's opportunity cost might be, let me give you two case studies. Over the past 15 years, SAA has been given $2 billion in bailout funding. The $2 billion is equivalent to the money that was used to start Emirates Airlines, one of the most successful airlines globally. SAA has had that already in bailout money. And then another comparator is Ethiopian Airlines. 2007 to 2019, Ethiopian Airlines grew its passenger volume from 2 million passengers to 12 million passengers, a six-fold increase in passenger volumes over 12 years. 2007 to 2019, SAA's passengers went from 8 million to 6 million, a 25% shrinkage over the same period that Ethiopian Airlines grew its passenger carry 6 times. Incidentally, Ethiopian Airlines flies to more than 100 countries, 100 destinations worldwide, alongside another 19 destinations inside of Ethiopia. SAA flies to 38 destinations worldwide. In the absence of money and in the absence of a clear strategy and in the context of this environment, it is an extraordinary hard case to make for SAA. Some mobility data out of the US shows us that hotel occupancy rates were down at just 21% last week. That is down from 70% hotel occupancy a year ago. In Europe, hotel occupancies declined all the way down to 8% last week. That is a 90% fall in hotel occupancies. There is a tiny sliver of silver lining in that the mobility data tells us that the places like Germany, Italy, Spain, Hong Kong, Brazil, there is some modest recovery in mobility and hotel occupancy. I can perhaps make that silver lining a tiny bit thicker by talking about South African banks. The South African bank index is down 50% year to date, and that is easy to understand, or the distress is easy to understand against the tough economic backdrop. However, in this environment, the likes of Nedbank and Absa are trading at 0.5 of book, a 0.5 price to book multiple. The book is the value of all of the bank's assets up against its liabilities, and so a 0.5 price to book multiple says essentially the market is valuing the bank's business as if half of it will be written off. Some of it will be written off, but looking at the quality and strength of South African bank balance sheets and even allowing for sharp markdowns in earnings and the evaporation of dividends for the foreseeable future, it looks like these banks have been priced for much more than the worst news. And so perhaps from the banking sector, there might be a slightly thicker sliver of silver, as we perhaps could anticipate some recovery in bank prices, with the likes of Nedbank and ABSA trading at valuations that simply look like they have been overdone. And then a very thick piece of silver lining and a hat tip. Yesterday, in yesterday's vlog, I spoke about not machines or people, but machines and people. And so the hat tip goes to the intensive care specialists at Tygerberg Hospital, who have a new infection-resistant colleague, helping them undertake ward rounds for COVID-19 patients, and the colleague takes the form of Quinton, as he is called. Quinton is a double robotic robot. I have no idea what a double robotic robot is, but there you have it. And this is the genius work of Prof. Kuni Kuchelenberg and Dr. Sarita Kannenberg, the husband and wife team, who have taken Quinton to Tygerberg Hospital. To you, to Tygerberg Hospital, to your colleagues, to Quinton, thank you for this magic. For everyone joining me on this blog, on this vlog, thank you for joining me. Stay safe, stay home. See you tomorrow.